Hey guys, it's Will here, welcome back to the channel. Tonight just wanted to talk a little bit about the new beta rules for bolters that came out on Monday and are they were leaked on Monday and then officially published on Tuesday. I think the intention was that they weren't going to come out till February's White Dwarf, but they'd leaked all over the internet, so GW were like, yeah, fine, have them official, this is what it is. So yeah, that's cool. So for those of you who haven't seen it, I'm going to run through what those rules are and also to clear up some of the misconceptions. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about how effective these are. Are they going to be good? Which units are going to benefit from them? Which factions are going to benefit from them? Not just benefit from them, but benefit them the most. And just finally talk about where I think this will shift the balance of the meta a bit. So basically these new bolter rules, which are beta rules, so they are optional, but most places will want to use them, I think, because they are official beta rules. So replace rapid fire, or the rapid fire rules, for bolt guns wielded by Adeptus Astartes and Heretic Astartes. So this is affecting everyone that's a Space Marine, from the lowliest scout right up to a Black Legion chosen veteran, sergeant, aspiring champion, whatever they're called. Anyone who is a Space Marine gets this rule, but the key is it's only Space Marines. So sorry Sisters of Battle, sorry random guard character who's managed to get hold of a bolter, this is just for Marines, but it is for all Marines, whether you're Primaris, Original, Chaos, some funky chapter like Space Wolves or Blood Angels, everyone's getting it. And so instead of rapid fire just working and giving you double shots inside half range, it now gives you double shots either at half range, or if you stayed stationary, or if the bolt gun is mounted on a bike, Terminator, Centurion or vehicle. So I think some people have kind of got the wrong end of the stick when the first sort of rules leaked, that somehow this would stack, so if you were standing still and in half range you'd somehow get like double shots, but that's not quite right. It's just the rapid fire double shots now happens in more circumstances. So this is only for bolt weapons that have rapid fire, so not your heavy bolters, not your bolt pistols, not your auto bolt storm gauntlets, but anything that's a bolter with rapid fire, so storm bolters, bolt guns, bolt rifles, and all the funky special versions of it, like the Primarch's Wrath and even like the Gauntlets of Ultramar. If it's a bolt weapon with rapid fire, and that includes hurricane bolters, they're all benefiting from this. And so it's not going to actually increase the maximum damage output of these weapons, but rather mean that they're going to get their maximum output under more circumstances. So whereas before, your intercessors would have to get into 15 inches to double tap, they've now got the choice of either being at 15 inches or being at longer range and standing still. So they'll be able to start rapid firing their bolters earlier on. So I think it's good. It's certainly solid, but you've got to bear in mind this is mostly affecting strength 4 weapons with, in fact, I think apart from a few very special options, they're all strength 4 and AP 0, 1, or in very special occasions 2. So it's not affecting the most powerful weapons, but it is certainly affecting some of the most common. So I want to talk about tactical Marines first, and I don't think this is much help to them, to be honest, because your standard tactical squad loadout, your sergeant's got the combi weapon, you've got your special weapon on your regular guy, and then you've got your heavy weapon. And I think the thing with tactical squads is they're really about the heavy and special weapon. Those option weapons are really defining the role of the squad, and if you want to get the most out of them, you're moving up to get that flamer or melter gun into range, and so you're kind of wanting to stay mobile. And so I don't think this is really going to be that big a deal, because they're going to have to stay still to benefit from this. So I think tactical squads will still be about moving up close or standing back at super long range, acting as a pseudo devastator squad stroke objective camper. But tactical squads just aren't you know, good enough at the moment in the current meta compared to the other Space Marine troop options that you'll really see much shift in them. Excuse me. What you will see though is Vanguard, Sternguard veterans going to benefit a lot from this, because you've already got 30-inch range and you've got the -2 AP on their special issue bolters. So what you'll actually see now is Sternguard may have a bit more use on the standard bolters rather than what you commonly see, which is giving them storm bolters, which is still a good option with this, because you know you can now stand at 24 and double tap your storm bolters. But I think the special issue bolters will be a thing now, and intercessors are really helped by this. Obviously just the ones with the standard bolt rifles rather than the auto bolt rifles or the stalker pattern, because they don't get this. But yeah, intercessors from 30 inches now you're getting 2 shots per guy, -1 AP as well, which is key on that. And yeah, that's certainly solid. And the fact that, you know, your bolt rifles are probably getting a bit more from this, you know, in your intercessors than your tactical squads are getting, kind of fits with the way GW are going with Marines, where they really are shifting to more Primaris focus. You know, I think it's going to be a very long time before regular Marines aren't a thing anymore. You know, if you've got regular Marines, you know, go for it, that's great. But I think GW's development of Marines is slowly creeping more and more down the Primaris side, because you know that's where they see the future of them. And to cap this off, if you've got the Veteran Intercessors stratagem from the Vigilus book, you can stand still at 30 inches and get 40 shots off a 10-man squad. And although, you know, obviously you've got to take into account hitting and wounding, these guys are Marines, and they're probably standing next to someone like Calgar or Gulliman, or at least a captain and lieutenant to buff the hitting and the wounding. So you can really start to do a lot of damage with this, and I think this might be the shift that with Space Marine troops, whereas standard competitive these days, Space Marine troops choices is 3 units of scouts, 3 minimum units of scouts, just fill your slots. Now I think, you know, this is starting to give more and more incentive to use intercessors. You know, they've had the points drop, we got the stratagem in the Vigilus book, and now the bolters are more effective as well. And yeah, scouts with bolters get this too, but scouts with bolters can easily be within 12 inches. They don't really gain that much from this, and to be honest, you know, min scout squads tend to die pretty early on anyway. But these bolt rifles, you know, I think intercessors are slowly going to start to creep into lists now. Obviously a lot of other units are getting this. Terminators and bikes, obviously they don't have to worry about whether or not they've moved for this, they just get double shots all the time. But both of those units are very mobile, and both of them would be kind of getting into 12 inches pretty easily anyway. With Terminators, obviously they're not themselves mobile, but you have a delivery system for them. They can deep strike naturally, or, you know, if you want to pretend you're playing 5th edition, you can put them in a Land Raider. Yeah, Land Raiders still a thing, they still exist, honest. I haven't seen one for a while, but apparently they're still there. So I don't think this will change those units much, but you know, Devastator Centurions, they might see a bit more action now, because you've got the Hurricane pattern bolters on there, and they you know, they're going to get a lot extra at range with that. You know, you can now have them stand at 24 inches and gain the full effects of their bolters, as well as whatever heavy weapon you got on there. Say it's the heavy bolters, the cheap option, then that's a lot of DACA now, and that squad went down a lot of points in the chapter approved as well. Other than that, vehicles, storm bolters aren't really the point. You don't take the vehicle for the storm bolter, but again, it kind of suits the Primaris shift, because you know, it's things like the Repulsor and the Redemptor that have a lot of storm bolters available on there, and it really makes, you know, the choice of storm bolters even more kind of assured. You know, previously it was still a bit of a toss-up between them and the Frag Storm, but now you definitely want storm bolters on your Repulsors and your Redemptors, because they're always getting the double shot. I haven't said much about Heretic Astartes. I will touch on them in a minute, but basically a lot of it is the same. They obviously have less in the variety of bolters available to them. They don't get as much as this from Marines, but it at least keeps them in line. except the Thousand Suns. So yeah, Thousand Suns. I haven't seen Rubric Marines on the table for a long time. Thousand Suns, generally, you know, you're taking either Tzeentch Demon allies or Zangors as your troops, but now those Rubrici can stand still at 24 inches and be firing 2 shots with their bolters at -2 AP. And you know what? I think this could be, you know, could be a thing now. We'll have to wait and see, but you know, it might actually mean that Thousand Suns players are bringing actual Thousand Suns rather than just Magnus and a bunch of demons. And Deathwatch, going back to the loyalist side of things, Deathwatch certainly you know, gain a big boost from this with all their special issue ammo. So I think those are the units that, the 2 factions that are really getting a lot from this, other than, you know, Primaris getting a decent thing with that. It's the Deathwatch and the Thousand Suns that are the real hidden winners here. Whether or not that was GW's intention, I don't know, but they're certainly getting a lot from it. I think Sam at the moment, incidentally, has been building a Deathwatch army for the last couple of months, or the last couple of weeks, because that's how fast Sam paints. And yeah, he's very excited to try out the new Bata Rules with all his special issue ammo. Oh, and one thing I didn't mention on vehicles, Hurricane Bolters. So Storm Ravens and Land Raider Crusaders are getting a lot of extra shots at range now, but to be honest, particularly with the Crusader, they were getting within 12 inches anyway, because it's like an assault transport. That's if they were getting on the board at all, because again, like I said earlier, haven't seen a Land Raider for a long time. So kind of gone a bit over time again, as I usually do, but so is this rule good? Yeah, I think it is good. Is it going to be game breaking? No, it's not actually increasing the total damage output of these units. It's just making it easier for you to get your damage output. Will it shift the balance of Marines and like what units people are taking in Marine armies? Yeah, I think it will. I think, you know, we've got some strong things here. It's not going to break the game. It's not going to completely fix Marines, who are still not one of the strongest armies out there, especially if you're not running Ultramarines. But I think it will help them a bit, but only time will tell. You know, we'll have to play some games with these. Obviously, I'm kind of using my Eldar in the tournament at the moment, so the league, sorry. So it's going to be a while till I get Marines on the table. But as you may be able to see behind me, I've got some models work in progress to add to them. So yeah, I'll be looking to test those when I get the chance, and obviously, you know, we'll see how it goes when my opponents bring them. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this and found it interesting, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.